learn Chaturanga standing up. What you'll do is you'll take your arms and make Chaturanga arms, which just means you'll bend your elbows, okay, and then extend at the wrist. We want to make sure the forearm, it would be perpendicular to the torso or parallel to the ground. And then we try to get our wrist the best we can parallel to our torso. This is Chaturanga arms. You're going to go up a little bit, then back, and then forward with your elbows. So we want to go from the bottom of the shoulder blades forward, not from the top of the shoulder blades forward. So from the bottom of your shoulder blades forward. Now, if you do that properly, what's going to happen, if you roll your shoulders up, back, and then down, you're going to have your arms will probably go forward more and your chest will pop forward like mine is, okay? So then you'll have to employ your core muscles a little bit by pulling your ribs down and bringing your head back. Now you have a Chaturanga. And if you want to test, if you have a wall nearby, go to a wall like this and lean into it and see if you can keep your shoulder heads, the shoulder head here, back as you push through the heel of the hand from the side angle shoulder heads, back, heel of the hand, forward. Up, Urdhva Hastasana. So now your arms up overhead. We're going to do this with the utmost care for our shoulders, which is to utilize the muscles of them and to articulate our joints. So we want our shoulders to actually rise up so that the palms can come together with straight elbows. So you're going to see that I'm not down here with my shoulders like this. I'm up here, so I'm utilizing the muscles called serratus anterior, trapezius muscles, all of which are participating in this action. So get your arms up, palms together, elbows straight. Your ribs will have to lift at first until you develop the flexibility to pull them down. So if it's possible to keep your shoulders up and your ribs down, wonderful. Press the pinky side edge of your palms together and look up a little bit towards your thumbs. Urdhva Hastasana is the name of the pose. Ardha Utanasana, halfway lift. We want to try to bring the pelvis away from this position here. A lot of people will align their pelvis behind the heels. So move your pelvis forward. Press the backs of your legs apart. That means you're trying to separate the mat with your heels and you'll feel your outer hips engaged. And lift the sit bones up. You see how my low back is not rounded but arched. Okay, so pressing the backs of the legs apart, lengthening the chest. You should feel your back muscles engaged, and then you can even get lighter on the blocks, making less use of your hands, but don't lean back. Keep the weight forward, okay? Utanasana, forward fold. You can either keep your hands on the blocks or move them to the ground, and leading with the belly first until your pelvis runs out of room and it won't bow forward anymore. And then let the back of your skull come to the ground and pull your front ribs back, round your back. And we'll step the left foot back as you exhale. Place the palms to the ground, inhale to plank pose, and pause here. Fingertips grip the ground. If you need to, you can place the knees to the ground to do plank on knees. But you're gonna see if you can push the ground away so your shoulder blades move apart. Soften your shoulder blades toward each other and then push them apart. Now keep them apart and pull your front ribs and belly in. Okay, so this is plank pose. Squeeze your shins toward each other. Then that will be an activation of your inner thighs. So squeeze your legs inward as if there's a block between your shins so you feel your inner thighs activating. We'll do a 3-part cobra. So your hands wide, lift the front body, melt the middle back, and that will soften. You see how my middle back goes down and forward? That creates the back bend, the spinal extension. Now pull your chest forward and stretch the belly up. We're going to do downward facing dog with the utmost attention to the shoulder girdle, the hips. This will be an intense downward facing dog. It is not a rest. Instead of doing down dog with a rest in the shoulders, which causes shoulder impingement and all sorts of false biomechanics, the opposite of what the shoulders want to do essentially. So watch as I come up to down dog. Again, it's a nice long stance. I'm not dropped like this, but I'm pushing off of my hands. Maybe even the heel of the hand lifts a little bit. And then my tailbone's not tucked. It's like our Ardha Utanasana. You lift your sit bones up and press the backs of your legs apart. It should feel very expansive. Okay. Now let's learn a little bit about jumping forward. A lot of it has to do with trusting your hands. How do you build trust in your hands? Well, you got to build strength in them. So fingers grip the ground, arms push. Those two elements are very necessary. Fingers grip the ground, arms push. Look forward. Now stick your bum up and then use your legs, use the spring of your ankles and your knees to hop forward. Looking in front makes it a lot easier. Now we're going to work on the jump back to Chaturanga. So how do you do a jump back in a more accessible way. You want to start from the body position of being in Chaturanga already. So instead of coming from Ardha Uttanasana like this and then somehow getting to Chaturanga, place your palms to the ground like this, bend your knees and look forward. You see how my upper body is already in plank? So all I need to do is lean the weight into my hands and out of my feet like this. So lean out of the feet and into the hands, and then start to bend the elbows and just shoot the legs back. If you put the weight in your fingers and lean your body weight this way, your legs will want to go back so you don't fall forward. And then the legs will go back quite nicely and easily. So what I suggest is we start kneeling like so. We take our hands to the blocks on the highest height and learn upward dog here with the index finger facing forward and the rest of the 3 fingers outside. And go shoulders up, because if the shoulders are down in front, then to go back won't work. You have to go up, then back. Then you can go external, which is like you're turning your blocks out, but it's really up here at the bicep, not the wrist, but it's up at the upper arms. So the arms, the elbows will go in, the biceps will face forward, and you'll feel your shoulder blades retract. They move toward each other and your chest goes forward. So this action, this is what we're looking for. Then the rest of upward dog is with the shoulders back like this. You're gonna push down through the heel of the hand and you'll get that lift. So, okay, so now let's try to apply it to our upward dog. I suggest hands very wide. Okay, with the hands very wide, you can turn your hands out, and we're start with plank on knees like this, and then melt the shoulders up towards the ears and back. And then I gotta move forward a little bit so the chest can be in front of the arms. Then look how my biceps turn, see that? Forward. So externally rotate like we're in Tadasana. My knees are still on the ground currently. You can untuck the toes if you like. But my arms are up, back with the shoulders, rotate with the arms, and then pull the chest forward and up. Then, if it's okay on your low back, reach through the toes and pull the chest forward. And maybe your knees lift up.